The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to RAP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts,
Kim Purvis
and Allison Robinson. Make sure to check us out on our Facebook pages, RAP Paranormal and Friends and RAP Paranormal Busters, for up-to-date show information and events.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own
How's it going?
or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror.
Yeah, right.
Looking pretty good.
I wish our place really looked like that. Me too. Are you getting the weather that we're getting here? Are you getting a shitstorm up that way or not?
Snowed in completely.
Oh, damn.
Like they called school off last night for today, and then they already did the 2-hour late start. So
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an excuse to be a recluse and not go outside.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I still had to make my ass to work this morning, but I only worked a half a day, so that was nice because we called patients and didn't have any, so that was great.
Yeah, perfect.
I know, right?
See, my job gives me a lot of free time during the winter, and sometimes I feel like a big lazy slob because I don't. But then, like when it snows, it's like, well, I can't go do anything. What am I going to do? So I feel better about myself.
Exactly. Well, there you go. Yeah.
And if I start to feel bad, I just watch like Hoarders or something, and I feel a lot better about my life.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my God, don't even I used to watch those shows too. I can't watch them anymore. Now I'm on to, I like to watch like the 1,000-Pound Sisters or Best Friend, 600-Pound Life. As I'm sitting there eating a bag of chips, you know?
My favorite is My Weird Obsession with like the chick that eats couch cushions.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've seen some of those weird people.
There's this one.
And shit.
Yeah, there's this young kid, and he's like in love with his car.
Oh,
and it's like cutting to B-roll of him laying under his car, totally making out with his bumper.
Oh,
and I'm just
God. Have you seen the one with his inflatables? Like,
he
has the pools, like,
yes.
they're like blow up pool toys that he's like in love with? Like, what?
Yeah. One lady married a Ferris wheel.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, and it was the same thing, her like totally making out with the Ferris wheel. I'm just like, what planet am I on?
I don't know.
You know?
I have no idea.
One of my favorite quotes is, I remember when crazy meant something. Now everybody's crazy.
Pretty much. Everybody is.
You know who said that?
What? Who?
Charlie Manson.
Oh, yeah, well,
So,
yeah,
like,
he had something right there.
When Charlie Manson's calling us crazy.
Yeah.
It's
pretty bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. All right, so let's kind of get a background on yourself. I'm just going to go with one of the questions that everybody goes with all the time, but how did you get into the paranormal? Because weren't you in a band or something?
Was I what?
In a band or something, or did that? So how did you go from that to? How did you get into the paranormal? Did you have any experiences when you were younger?
Yeah, so I got to go way back,
Way
way back.
back.
Um, when I was a baby, my mom, we lived in a two-story house.
hmm
My mom's in the second story. She's just housewife, everybody else is at work and school.
hmm
And she's doing laundry, and it's a nice day, so she had the windows open. I crawled out of the second story window as a baby, fell 2 stories down
Oh my
outside.
gosh!
As a parent now, I can't imagine the horror that was going through my mom's head.
Right.
She runs out, grabs me, not a scratch on me, nothing.
Wow.
And she's always like, the angels were watching over you that day. That was real scary. And she
Mhm.
still tears up about it.
Oh.
In my mind, I'm like, that's what's wrong with me. Right there.
I was gonna say it first, but
Yeah,
I let you
right.
say it. No, I'm just kidding.
So then, flash forward, I remember living in a house that me and my brother shared bunk beds. I was probably 5 or 6.
Mhm.
I'd always wake up bawling in the living room. And I had no idea how I got out there, and I'm just bawling hysterically. And Dad would get kind of pissed, like, go to bed,
You're
like
right. Yeah.
every night. My brother's best friend at this house is in prison for murder right now. He stabbed a lady 20 some times with a fork, supposedly.
Oh my gosh.
We ended up moving to another place, and my friends wouldn't come over. They're like, your house is haunted. Do you know what happened in the basement? And so this goes on and on and on. My first job was filling in graves at a cemetery
Oh
when I was
shit.
like 14.
Oh my gosh.
So I lived in a haunted house, another haunted house, another haunted house, another haunted house. And I've since gone back to all those houses
Uh-huh.
and did the knock at the door and,
Mhm.
hello, I used to live here when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
anything weird happen? Like, that's
Yeah.
so awkward to do.
Oh, I'm sure.
Every one of these people said, no, it's the most peaceful house we've ever lived in. So right then I'm like,
Hmm.
there's haunted houses and there's haunted people.
Yep, you're haunted.
So, and the whole time when I was a kid, I got the Time Life Mysteries of the Unexplained books, and
Mhm.
I'm like trying to hunt Bigfoot outside of my house. And I actually made these Bigfoot feet out of plywood, and I went clear out into the woods, and I'm making Bigfoot prints. Like,
Oh my god.
Then I realized, yeah, nobody ever comes out here. So then it turned into looking for UFOs. And then I turned 16, 17 and got a car and found out what girls are.
Oh
And
yeah. Uh-huh.
so I tried to really be normal and ended up in a band and as a musician, toured professionally for 10 years.
Wow.
Hey, we got a gig in Nashville. Here's the plane tickets. Just bring your guitar. Backline will be there, just and paid. It's like a real job. And it's like, this is awesome.
Right.
Meanwhile, we'll go to places like Wyoming. We got a gig there.
Mm-hmm.
So as a band, we just walk around the towns, and I'd always walk into places, and I'm just like, something's not right here. And I'd go talk to the people. Oh, this was an old brothel back in the day. And, so it's like I tried running from the paranormal, but it always found me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Ended up in Villisca. Knew about the axe murders. I'm a big true crime buff, history guy. I bugged Darwin day after day with questions. And Darwin just goes, do you just want a job? Like, you're here every day. I might as well pay you. And I'm like, yeah, just so I can have the keys to the axe murder house.
Right, exactly.
Within a month, Travel Channel did a top 10 most haunted and terrifying, put it number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Paranormal State, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Lab, Dead Files, Kindred, blah, 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 blah,
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it quickly turned into a real job,
Yeah.
So it just happened. What cracks me up is I busted my ass with music.
Right.
And, we had pretty good success. The lady I was playing with out in Nashville was on CMT on a reality show, and
Oh, cool.
she rode that as long as she could possibly ride it.
Right.
Played CMT awards down there. I was the first guitar player to ever play Coyote Ugly in Nashville.
Oh, wow.
some pretty cool stuff,
Yeah.
but it just never, you know.
Mhm.
I've done the label showcase thing down there, which was like a hotel conference room with a stage set up and a table in front with like 5 people just sitting there going, and that's
Yeah.
like Curb Nashville, like all
Yeah.
these record labels, and
Uh-huh.
there's like 10 bands showcasing. They're all backstage doing the whole la 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 like warm ups. We'd been on the road for 2 months. None of
Yeah.
my I'm like stinky and dirty and reeking of booze,
Yeah. Right.
And I thought the whole thing was so stupid. It's like, I'm just going to go out there and melt some faces. I don't fucking care. So I go do that, and I just unloaded on guitar.
Oh shit.
And so all those label guys went up to my singer, and it's like, where did you hire this guy?
Yeah.
Like, who is he? Where'd you hire him? And she's like, no, he's mine. You're not going to touch him. And I heard about this, and I'm just like, I'm done.
Wow. Right.
And at that right then, MP3s become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the music business was tanking. It was.
Yeah.
We were on Tootsie's on the main drag down there in Nashville on a Tuesday, and I seen Andy Gibson, the steel player for Hank Williams III, signed to Curb Records, playing on a Tuesday for tips.
Wow, dang.
Yeah, this ain't happening.
Right.
So I just end up at the Axe Murder House, and I don't even try.
Right.
And then all these shows, it's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I, at that point, went full weird and then just embraced it.
Embraced it.
Yeah.
All right. So for the listeners that aren't familiar with the Axe Murder House, can you give them kind of a background on that? Because we do have a lot of out-of-country listeners.
So June 9th, 1912, town had a church service. Everybody went to this thing. It was a big deal. People from other towns came to it. It was a different time and it was an exciting thing. The Moores, a family of 6, come home with Ina and Lena Stillinger, and actually had 2 little boys walking with them that night, too. They veered off last second, went to their house. Next day, the neighbor, Mary Peckham, whose room I'm in right now, noticed that something was up. She got a relative down. They were all found dead in their beds. The axe was left downstairs, raw bacon on the floor, mirrors covered with sheets, food at the table, bloody water, cigarette butts, footprints, all destroyed by half the town.
Oh, yeah.
Detective came from Leavenworth. He was drunk, falling out of the vehicle drunk.
Oh, gosh.
So, dude, he got one job.
Yeah, right.
Which I guarantee on the way up from Kansas City, he's like, I need a drink before I walk into this.
Yes. Oh, probably.
And then we've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Iowa's oldest cold case. We have no idea what happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of theories. The man got off the train. The man was in the attic. The man was hiding in the barn. It was a state. We don't know.
Right.
Nobody has a clue. And the more I dig into it, I've been going through the old detective notes a lot lately.
Uh-huh.
The more I dig, the more I realize we don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's all speculation. Like,
right.
The idea of Lena having the defensive wound on her arm where she went up to block.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, that was just blood.
Wow.
And when they wiped the bodies clean, that wiped right off.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was the people walking through the house seen that on her arm and just assumed.
Gotcha.
And we've assumed every day since then.
Mm-hmm.
The Man from the Train, this book, great book. It's cool, interesting. They knew about that. Monmouth, Illinois, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Paola, Kansas, all these other towns came here.
Mm-hmm.
Discuss it being related. And they had a big summit and they left going, no, probably not. These were people that were on the scenes,
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting idea, but the cops back then didn't think so, which they could have been drunk too. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, anything could have went back then. Oh, shit. You went dark.
It's weird.
I was like,
okay.
I don't see you now, I do.
So yeah, we don't know. It is never solved. one person was tried, Reverend Kelly, who's acquitted.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what happened, sadly.
I was gonna say, yeah, there's been quite a few suspects, and then people are talking about that there's a link between Villisca and the Malvern Manor. What are your thoughts on that? That he could have stayed there or something, the killer.
Very well could have. And what kind of led me down that, me and Josh. So I was investigating the Axe House for Groff, doing with Vidi Space. So
Right.
I'm going to do 30 days straight at the Axe Murder House, day and night.
Oh,
and I started getting calls from people. Well, not calls, like Facebook messages. Hey, my team was at the Malvern Manor last night, and your name came out on the Geoport.
Oh, shit.
And the first three, I'm just like, okay. Yeah, right. Happened again and again and again. Meanwhile, I'm getting weird EVPs. I don't know what they mean. Inez, the captain.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Malvern.
What is that? So I go take a tour of Malvern because of all these people talking about it. That's when I hear about Inez and the captain. And then that's when I see the shadow figure down Shadow Daddy Hall.
Oh, so, yeah. I remember
one. So there's some kind of connection.
Yeah.
Whether the guy stayed there the night before or who knows what it is. Destination Fear tried to key in on that.
Right.
I don't think they answered anything, There was a great episode. They tried.
Yeah.
You don't always get hits, but there's something between the two.
Yeah, I mean, we had some weird things. It was last September, I think, and one of the black mirrors was down in the hallway. No, who were we with? Cynthia was there with us because she was scrying. You and Cynthia, because that's when the door banged on you. But me and your cousins were in Rebecca's room in the Shadow Man's hallway, and we had the obelisk going. And we actually got axe and murder on the obelisk while Cynthia was scrying. I don't know what she was picking up because I didn't hear her, but I thought that was kind of weird.
It's crazy, and like maybe these places are built on whatever that can give it energy, quartz or whatever, limestone, who knows? I've never heard of ghosts being trapped in places until Beetlejuice with the sandworm.
Oh, yeah, right.
So maybe they can just freely travel back and forth. They're like little subway stops. I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm sure they can.
And if you want to go into ghosts being trapped in locations, so say a guy hangs himself on the third story of a building, and that building's demolished. Is he now 40 feet in the air haunting the sky?
Right. Yeah.
And if you go that far, we all know the universe is expanding and stretching outward. They're worried about the big rip in like a billion years that space and time just disintegrates because it all rips apart. So if that's the case, Earth is not even where it was 100 years ago. We're all like traveling, so none of that makes sense. Maybe they're trapped. I don't know. I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think some can go wherever they want to go because people get attachments, so spirits can follow them home.
Right.
I had one.
I think some. I don't know if they're literally trapped, but I think they're trying to get their story out. That's why they're still there.
It could possibly be.
Trying to get somebody to listen to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that coupled with like a residual replaying in time, makes us think, they must be stuck here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've had one, I don't remember his name, but I had a spirit that said he followed me to Malvern. Because we got a name on the spirit box that we'd never heard, and he said he had followed me.
But I can't remember
his name either.
We got it written down in our notebook.
Yeah. So, I think some of them can freely move around, but I don't know that for sure.
We don't know anything.
No.
And what I love by being kind of home base at the Axe House is I'll get a lot of brand new teams, young kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is our very first investigation. They're like 18 years old. And I'm like, it's like, why'd you come here?
that's
Have a
where
seat,
we
boys.
started.
That's where we
Right,
started, but
know,
I was
yeah.
much older than that.
But I'll talk to them and I'm just like, I'm so glad to see young minds because
Yeah.
we've been doing the same thing for 25 years. You know, time to come up with some new stuff, guys.
Right,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
we're stuck in our ways. You young kids need to come up with new ideas and push this field one step further because it's kind of stagnant right now.
Exactly. It is. It is, for sure. Now, do you have like a favorite experience that you've had either at the Villisca or any other place that you have investigated? Do you have something that sticks out in mind?
Right now, this sticks out in my mind because I did a podcast at 9:30 this morning out of
Uh-huh.
New York, and it was with the Kling brothers
Uh-huh.
from Ghost Lab,
Uh-huh.
and we were recounting an investigation we did in Helena, Texas,
Okay.
this old ghost town.
Uh-huh.
And you know, after talking about it, it's like that was a really fun experience because I went down just to document and film this.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk into this old haunted mansion, looks like Norman Bates's house.
Oh shit.
And right when we walk in, and it's dark, and it's just me, Brad, and Barry,
Mm-hmm.
miles away from nobody. And Brad starts in. And if you've ever seen Ghost Lab, they have a very loud approach to ghost hunting.
Yeah.
And Brad's right next to me, and he just starts screaming, and it
good Lord.
scared the shit out of me. Just like, ah!
Oh,
You know?
jeez.
But you know, it's their approach is for a point, like, hey, my name's Brad. If you don't want me here, let me know. You know,
Yeah.
and then if we hear a noise upstairs, it's like, okay, that's where we're going to set up scientific equipment, and you know,
Right.
But they wanted me to. Nothing much was going on, and they're like, "You go upstairs. Brad and Barry will stay down." I go walking upstairs very slowly, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is bad news." I hear Brad and Barry start screaming,
Oh shit.
so I run down the steps. It's like if these two guys are screaming, like, nah, you know. But they had caught, and they heard audibly, like a man growl, like I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the very first times where I was just like, that happened. This is real, you know.
Yeah.
I've still never seen a ghost.
Really? You haven't? You haven't seen like an actual like full body apparition or anything like that?
Nope.
Me either.
Yeah,
Just a face.
I've been with people that I trust and that I know aren't lying, and they're like, there's a little boy in the corner, and I'm like, oh yeah. Where?
Yeah, right.
I don't see anything. But that made me formulate this idea that I look at ghost hunting as like a choose your own adventure book.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm on my journey, you're on your journey, we're all on our different journeys. Maybe if you come to the Axe House and you have nothing happen, it's because it's not specific to your story. Mm-hmm. You know, what made me think of that is that in Farrar with Seth Alney and the Calhoun County guys, I trust Seth with everything.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He's like legit, him and his whole crew. Mm-hmm. And he's like, dude, are you hearing this? I'm like, no. It's like, you're not hearing that? It's like, no. Did you see this? And like, it's affecting him like crazy. Mm-hmm. I know he's not lying to me.
Right.
But it's directing at him instead of me. Mm-hmm. And so I had further proof. I did a event with Mark and Debbie Constantino.
Oh, yep.
Down at the Axe House. Mm-hmm. We had 10 exact same recorders, same make, same model, same settings, same batteries out of the same multi-pack of batteries, all touching each other, lined up. Like 6 of them would get EVPs where the rest wouldn't. Mm-hmm. It's like, how is that possible? They're right next to each other. They're the same recorder with the same settings. And that's when it's like, maybe they can direct what gets it and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. You know, why are we talking to ghosts? Like voices are just vibrations that resonate on eardrums. Do they have eardrums? Do they have vocal cords? Or is it all like mental type telekinesis?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Do ghosts wear pants?
Do what now?
Do ghosts wear pants?
I don't fucking know because I haven't seen one.
When I'm a ghost, I'm definitely not wearing pants. Just saying, Just sorry, future investigators.
Oh my gosh, who is that on your cup? Is that Wednesday Adams? No, I'm totally off.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah. Oh my god. I saw a real fast glimpse and I thought I saw it look like her forehead type thing and I'm like, oh wait, nope, it's not.
It's all blurry. It's my good times cup.
Yes.
They're different.
Yeah. Oh good lord. I think I need to get my eyes checked.
I mean, kind of looks like Wednesday Adams, maybe.
I don't think so. Oh my lord. Oh my god.
So we got to talk about this week.
What?
This has been the weirdest week I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Oh yeah?
With UFOs being shot down.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. What you thought about all these fucking balloons flying around and shit. I was gonna ask you about that. What your thoughts were.
So we'll start with the Chinese balloon.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
China balloon.
Yeah.
So all the technology that we have here came from China. Like,
right.
These guys are number one in the world with technology. We aren't even close on the list.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
They're studying and going to school. Our kids are fighting about what Lizzo wore on the Grammys and
yeah. Right.
fentanyl zombies and like I love this country and I love everybody in this country.
Right.
But we're stupid. I mean, honestly, like
yeah.
What is happening? But anyway, like Chinese have windows that you push a button, they turn black. They have a robot doctor that passed. It's a robot that passed the boards and is interning at a hospital.
Oh shit! I didn't know about that.
They have computer screens thin as paper that you can fold up and put in your pocket. Like amazing technology.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And they have a big ass white weather balloon that looks like it's straight out of the 1980s floating around.
Oh yeah, I know. Right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Dog. Add a fucking balloon. Right. Right. I know, right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Right. Else is happening. Exactly. That's what I was thinking about this morning. I was like literally thinking about that because I see it. I don't watch the news and stuff on TV or whatever, but when I'm at the gym, obviously it's on those freaking big ass screens that they have. So I do see some of it. And that was going through my mind this morning. I'm like, there's got to be something else going on that they are trying to have us focus on these stupid ass balloons when there's actually something underlying that they don't want us to see. Yeah, weird. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little weird. There. Yeah. Say exactly. Mm. Right. Yeah. Mm. Right.
It's interesting and it's weird times, and
Yeah.
then you got all these trains that are
Mm-hmm.
derailing this week.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's a weird world. It's strange.
It is very weird. I don't know what's going on, and how many more of these stupid ass balloons are gonna pop up?
Mm-hmm.
Because how many have there been? 3 or 4? I lost count.
They shot down 4. They found a 5th one over Montana or Washington, one of the two, and they shut down
Mm-hmm.
flights. Yeah. And they're using a different filter NORAD is, and it's picking up balloons.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Right. Yeah.
They're going to scramble. You know how much money that gas costs for
Oh
those
yeah.
jets?
Right. Yeah. For sure.
And shoot $1 million missiles at it? Just a
Mm-hmm.
balloon?
Yeah. That's insane.
But I did really enjoy the TikTok that had, this is what China's going to see next week, and it's the Budweiser blimp.
Oh, I did.
And
Yes.
Sweet Home Alabama's blasting.
Yeah, I did. Oh my God. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, good
You know,
Lord.
I'm
Right.
just a peasant here in this country. I don't know how to run things. Do it, people, do whatever you need to do, government. But
Right.
something's off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Something's definitely sketchy, and of course, yeah, they're not going to say anything about it. That's just typical.
I hope, man. I hope it's aliens. It'd be so awesome.
That would be cool. That would. I mean, they came out saying that they have proof that there's UFOs and shit, and now all of a sudden it's just like hush hush again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can see, like, from War of the Worlds, that broadcast, like, people can't handle it. They went crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all know at this point,
Mm-hmm.
like, come on. I've never seen a ghost, but I've seen a UFO for sure.
You have?
Yes.
I
So,
have not. So how was that? Where did you experience that at?
when I was growing up, we'd go to church every Sunday, and then afterwards we'd just drive around. That we'd go to Pizza Hut, and we'd go on a big drive around the country. That was what my family did.
Nice.
So I'm in the back of Dad's Buick.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
No seatbelt on. Dad's chain smoking with the windows up.
Oh, shit. Oh my God.
Blasting Elvis cassette tape, and um, I'm just staring out the window, and I see what looks like a ball bearing,
Uh-huh.
and I'm staring at it forever, and I'd go up, then boom, back down, up, back down, and I watched it probably half an hour, and then finally it just goes poof, gone.
Oh shit! Wow.
So there's another time I was even younger. We
Uh-huh.
seen something outside my aunt's house. There's a UFO, and we told the parents about it. They all threw us in vehicles. We chased it, ended up in a farm field in Iowa, and there's a sheriff parked in the farm field, standing outside looking at the sky. Dad's like, "You looking at this?" Oh, it's a weather balloon.
Oh shit!
Of course.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, why is this sheriff out in the middle of nowhere standing in a field?
Right.
To watch a weather balloon.
To watch a weather
Yeah,
balloon. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? I wouldn't even know what the hell to look for, because, like, I'll look up there and I'll just be like, I see something, I'm like, oh, that's got to be a fucking satellite, because there's like a bazillion satellites out there,
Mm-hmm. And have you seen the picture of Earth with all the space junk around it?
No, I don't think so.
Planet Earth and everything surrounding it is a junkyard. There is so much debris around our planet, it's disgusting.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
So I'm just like, if aliens do exist, they probably lock their doors and roll up their windows when they fly past Earth. Like, yeah, let's keep going, guys.
Yeah, we ain't stopping in that shithole.
Why would they want to talk to us?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Unless we're on the verge of World War III, which
yeah.
pretty much are.
Yeah, that's true.
There's Russian boats are like in our waters. They chased off 2 Russian jets in Alaska, I believe it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The last U.S. diplomat was escorted out of Russia. China's mobilizing. Iraq's doing something. It's like, like I say, I believe in our military, and I would know we're badass and can best in the world. But
Mm-hmm.
I hate to see any young men and women dying over something stupid.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Me too. Cynthia says hello. She's like, it's that famous Johnny guy with the beard.
What's up, Cynthia? Love ya.
Oh, good lord. Oh, here she pop in and say something.
My favorite show I've ever done, though, was, everything at one point was all Villisca.
Oh, yeah,
Villisca,
right. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
which I love, but sometimes I feel like Kurt Cobain when they're like, "Play Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Right, yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of other songs, guys.
Right, yeah, exactly, right. For sure.
So I got a call from Mysteries and Monsters in America, and they wanted me to talk about the Van Meter monster.
Yes, yeah.
And Momo, Missouri Monster.
I didn't know about that one, but I knew that you knew about the Van Meter one. I was going to ask you about that too.
So I'm like, yes, absolutely. I want to talk about it. So I, break down the Van Meter monster. It's like this bat-like creature, this and that.
Right.
Mothman before Mothman, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I break it down. I'm like, all these elements that this creature has, the horn protruding from its head that glows bioluminescence, bat-like wings, like it's all things that animals have. Maybe it's some kind of unknown mammal. It takes an elephant in the Congo like 2 weeks to fully disappear.
Right.
It decomposes, insects and bugs eat the bones, scavengers come. So if you find something, it's a little piece, So that goes into the Bigfoot thing too. If you find a bone that big in the woods, you're going to be like, that's from a Bigfoot. You're not even going to think about it,
Right.
And I went on for half an hour and they dumbed that down to me going, it's real.
Oh, shit. Dang.
Like the biggest redneck line I've ever.
Right.
I'm like, that's what you get?
Wow.
And then the Momo thing, they dumbed it down to probably a bunch of hippies in the woods.
Oh, jeez.
And I don't even know why I said that, but. Well, that's what I do know. That's what back in the 60s, they thought there's just stinky hippies in the woods running around.
Oh my god.
Those damn hippies smoking their reefer.
Yeah.
Turning into zombies.
Oh my lord. Good grief. Yeah, Kim and I have gone down to the Van Meter Festival. We've gone there once.
Yeah, we went when Will Conkle was a speaker there, so we went down to see them. And,
yeah, Will and Jacqueline, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it is.
We walked the tour.
We walked the tours. You gotta walk out there in the fucking middle of nowhere where they think the thing is hiding or whatever, and...
We can't, we did that film, we camped out there.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And that was probably the weirdest night of my life.
Yeah.
Because we were going to do a documentary on it, and it's just like, we're not going to catch the monster on video, so maybe this is just a cool story.
Right, yeah.
So we go out there and we do our thing. Immediately, we see lights like shooting from the ground straight up. One's travel, like say these are stars. One's going like that fast. We check the flight checker. There's no flights going over. There's no thunder, no storm, no, nothing. And my son locked on it with his 4K video and followed it, and we're watching it, disappears. Pretty soon we hear a train coming, and we want to get B-roll shot of the train. The ground's rumbling. You can hear it on the tracks. The horn's honking. One of the guys goes down to grab his REM pod off the tracks. I'm like, you better hurry up. They're going to think you're trying to kill yourself.
Right.
Then all of a sudden it stops.
Oh, shit.
And we're like, we go around. There's no train anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, was that a phantom train?
Right. Oh.
And then we start experiencing things with weird vibrations and frequencies. And it was weird.
Yeah.
I'd like to go out there again for sure.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, for sure. Um, any other creatures or cryptids or anything of that nature that you're interested in or that you have explored or investigated for?
Um, mostly it was like Bigfoot and Van Meter monster. I did have a guy at a convention tell me that he caught a. Okay, so this guy comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at Scarefest in Kentucky,
Uh-huh.
and I get a lot of people that come up to me and tell me these fantastic stories, and I'm just like, wow, interesting.
Uh-huh.
Well, this guy walks up. He's retired military,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I got to tell you something, but you're going to think I'm absolutely nuts. I'm like, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Said he caught a troll.
A troll?
I'm like, a troll? He's like, yeah, like all this stuff was happening in my house, and I poured a salt ring, and they don't like salt, and it kind of traps them. He goes, so I made the salt ring, and I caught him in it, and it's just, he's going around and around and around so fast like this.
Yeah.
It's like a blur, and it stopped, and they looked at each other, and he's like, I know you don't believe me. I know you think I'm nuts, but it really happened, and you can come out to my house, and I'll show you this troll. Which I didn't go to his house. But,
oh, come on now, you pussy.
but it was just at that moment I realized if you're going to be weird, you got to be full weird. You can't be selective weird.
Yeah.
You can't be like, I believe in ghosts, but Bigfoot's stupid.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you believe in ghosts, you got to believe in Bigfoot and trolls and fairies and aliens. And I mean, anything is possible.
Right, yeah. I used to think there was a mermaid that was in the lake out by my house when I was growing up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, why the fuck I thought that, I don't know, but I really thought there was a mermaid out there.
There might have been.
There may have been, I don't know.
There's been
back
a lot of drownings out here, but
oh god.
Attack of the Killer Mermaids. That's a great
right?
idea.
Going back, Cynthia wants to know, where did you feel those weird vibrations? I told her I would ask. She put it in chat. I'm going to ask it.
Like, where on my body did I feel them? Or where at?
Cynthia's on a roll.
They were good vibrations.
there you go.
It's like, oh, ghost, I'll give you about 10 minutes to stop doing that.
Maybe he's visited Gracie's room at Melbourne.
Yeah, do you spend a lot of time in Gracie's room there?
No, I feel like I bond with Hank a little more than Gracie.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Okay. Dude, I slept in the office.
Yeah.
In Josh's office at Malvern Manor. It wasn't the week I was there with you guys. It was the next week.
Oh,
I went back and
yeah.
I fell asleep in the office. That was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Oh, really?
I was up every hour, and every time I'd close my eyes, I just felt and I seen somebody rushing in the room at me to where I'd jump up and look.
Yeah.
I'm hearing people walking around upstairs.
Yeah.
And every time I'd wake up, I'd look to see what time it was. I remember looking, and it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I kind of went down the TikTok rabbit hole for a while, and then I closed my eyes. I fell back asleep. I woke up again, grabbed my phone, looked to see what time it was. 5 o'clock in the morning.
What the hell?
Like this weird time slip.
Yeah, that's freaking weird.
So instantly, I'm like, next day, text Josh. I'm like, you ever sleep in your office? He's like, oh, yeah. I go, kind of weird, isn't it? He's like, dude. So I called him, and he's like, footsteps. I feel like a man's rush, like exactly what. And I didn't say anything to him.
Right.
He's telling me this. I'm like, that's exactly what I had. He's like, yeah, man, it sucks.
I can't believe that he actually freaking sleeps there, honestly.
Yeah, that was, and that night we had nothing happen, but until we went to sleep, and it was just, that place woke up, and it was terrifying.
Damn, that's insane. No, I get along with Hank also.
Oh.
Don't know why. I know he hates Cynthia. I've witnessed that, but
Mhm.
he has no issues with me, which is nice. But going down that Shadow Man's hallway, that's a whole other story.
And I had a dream because like 2 days later, I text Josh. I was like, "What's Hank look like?" He's like,
Yeah.
"I don't know," and I just never messaged him again.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. And I was like, "So I had a dream." He's like, "Okay, so this is what that text was about." I had a dream. This old guy with like a pompadour Elvis haircut, all gray, sideburns,
Uh-huh.
Western shirt, half of his chest like unbuttoned down to his belly button, almost full chest hanging out.
Right.
Pack of cigarettes in the pocket with a lighter, and I was just giving him shit. And he's starting to get pissed off, and then I was just like, "Oh, I love you, Hank, you know that." And I kind of wrestled him, and he's like, quit picking on me. And I woke up, and I'm like, "What?"
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Weird.
So
Mm.
maybe that was Hank's ghost.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
I think that place gives you dreams anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Because
does.
I get Susie in my dreams a lot.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, you do.
So
She's really bonded with Susie. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and he's getting dreams about Hank, and
Mm-hmm.
you get dreams about that bathroom.
Yeah.
That
Do we
you,
need do we need to talk about this a
Oh, good.
little more?
Well, the bathroom in the Shadow Man's hallway.
Yeah.
You haven't heard that?
Uh-uh.
So when we first started going there, there's the bathroom down by. What room is that? 2? That's locked.
the
1.
what the Shadow Man's hallway.
Yes.
His room's locked. The room across the thing's locked.
Yeah, and it's
It's
the
the
bathroom.
next room up.
It's the bathroom right next to that, kind of kitty corner from the Dizzy room.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept getting this woman like, help, help, help me, I need help. So we were with Moth. I don't know if you know them, but we were with them, and I was doing a session in the bathtub, and they had their portal going, and I was sitting there, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I have this pressure on my head. I feel like somebody's drowning me because I was sitting in the tub, and I kept hearing her say, it's the man, the man, the man, and I didn't know who that was. And then I kept getting that. Well, then I had an attachment from there, which was supposedly buried. But I still get that feeling down there, and it goes between that bathroom and the Dizzy room. They actually had to haul me out of the Dizzy room. Kim was doing an Estes method in the hallway, and we were there for an event with like Case and stuff like that. And I was in there by myself in the Dizzy man, and everybody's like, Allison, you okay? And next thing you know, I'm outside by that fucking car wash. I was gone. Like, I was legitimately gone.
Cynthia says you're not allowed in that bathroom anymore.
She won't let me go down there and investigate it. She's like, not on her watch, because she's had to cleanse me many times and haul my ass out. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's funny because the last time we were there, Thomas said he had another woman that was there who had the same thing I did in that bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, but that's about all I get is down that Shadow Man's hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen him. I've never seen a shadow there or anything like that. I've seen an older woman's face at Edinburgh in the stairway. That about pissed myself. I went to go open the door to a stairway, my cousin and I did, and I'm like, I went to open it like this, and it comes back like it just slant, like it's like somebody pulled it back shut, and I'm like, what the hell? So I go to pull it again, and we're like, holy shit, there was a woman in the stairway. That's the only thing I've ever seen. It's just a face. I didn't scream or run. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And of course I had my camcorder down like this,
Right.
Typical.
Never have it where you need it, but
I'm terrible at filming. Good Lord Almighty. You'll get sick watching anything I do.
And you guys were talking about using old equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
really think that, there's something to that, with the especially with reel to reel or using cassette tapes, because you got that magnetic property of,
right.
It just makes sense. And I have an old reel to reel player. I want to go back and just start using old Ed and Lorraine 1970s equipment.
I think older is better.
Yeah.
Honestly. Or less is more. That's my opinion. Like, give me a recorder. Like, when we went to Villisca, that was our very first investigation. What did we go with? We went with a freaking $20 recorder. I went with a knockoff GoPro and my night vision camcorder that takes cassette tapes. And we got all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
All kinds.
I had the $600 RT EVP recorder at one point, and I had tons of gear. And
Kim has a lot of shit.
Yeah, really cool stuff. It's fun, it's neat. And but I went to a location, I forgot my recorder. So I'm like, I'm like 2 hours away. So I just went to Walmart and I bought the cheapest piece of junk digital recorder I could find. That thing gets more EVPs than anything, because a lot of them will have a noise cancellation.
Right. Yeah. So it's canceling out any little kind of murmur or whisper that you may get.
And so the cheap ones have a cheap chip that aren't very good, so it gets more EVPs. Like the big recorder that Nick uses, that's now going for like $3,000.
Jesus.
Like, go to thrift stores and buy little cheapo recorders and find one that works. That's what that is. It's like those went for nothing until he started using them, and now they're like crazy. It's just an old cheap 90s recorder.
Yeah.
Right. But
exactly.
What made me sell a lot of my gear was I'd go into places and I'm just worried about batteries and this and this and this. And it's like, one day I realized, what am I missing? Because I'm not even paying attention to my surroundings.
Right. Yeah.
And I long time ago, like 15 plus years ago, I put this video on YouTube. I was painting inside the Axe house and I had a flashlight in there for light because it's getting dark, and I was just sitting on the floor. Flashlight shuts off and I'm like, turn it back on, guys. Just kind of a
right.
It turns on. I go, shut it off. It shuts off. And this is before people were loosening the back.
Right.
Yeah. And so I pull out my flip phone and take a video, which has the quality of a toaster, basically.
Right.
And I'm videoing this, and it's like 2 minutes. Make it dim, it goes dim. Make it bright, it goes bright. Turn it off, turns off. Turn it on, like on command. And at the end of it, I pick it up and I go whack, whack, whack on the floor as hard as I could to show no loose connection at all.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of that. And so I put it on YouTube, and somebody comments, fishing line.
Oh, what the hell?
Like, how in the world would that be fishing line?
Yeah.
Fishing line bends. It's not stiff.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And right then, I'm just like, unless I have Abe Lincoln in a Harvard laboratory answering questions for 10 years under scientists, nobody's going to prove anything.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Everybody picks at everybody's shit, so,
And like John Tenney says, I don't want it to be a science, because when it's a science, then it's taught in a school, then it's in a textbook, and you have to go by certain parameters and make check marks on everything you do correctly. It's way cooler having weird people in weird locations doing weird experiments every weekend.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree 100%. We did have a guest on that is more into the scientific, and like they went back to places and they like had like the time of day and air quality and all this stuff to, do these different experiments at this, what was it, like a road or something? I don't remember. Everybody's blurring together, but yeah, it's more of a scientific and doing all this data. Yeah.
And, teach their own. That's cool.
Right.
But
yeah, exactly.
Science still can't figure out why cats meow.
Yeah, right.
They know how they meow, but they don't know why.
Right. Yeah.
We still can't explain pyramids.
Right.
Science is great. Science explains a lot, but it doesn't explain everything.
Exactly.
And science is right until it's proven wrong. Like, I get it though. I get the way they want to do that, and that's great. We need all kinds. We need psychics that talk to animals. We need scientists. We need all of us in this field.
Right.
Because it's everything. We don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Maybe this ghost is lighting up a K2 meter. Maybe not.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
But it's fun at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Just like
You know what?
Go
You
ahead.
know what I love about it, especially at events?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird people that all come together and they find a family.
Right. Yep. That's
They
how
find their
we've met
tribe.
Yep. We have met a lot of people going to different
Yes.
events.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I love people that have stories and don't have the best of lives, and they've went through hard stuff, and
Right.
we're all a tribe together, and we all accept each other no matter what.
Right.
You know,
Yep. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
whether you tell me you caught a fairy,
Right.
okay, man, I'm not going to judge.
Right.
Maybe you did.
Yeah. You may have.
Never know.
But either way, you're at this weird location and you're in a safe spot to where you can be weird.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. Now going back to having the equipment and not watching your surroundings, I'm gonna go back to when we were in Inez's room.
The Scream Around the World?
Good Lord, I'm never gonna live that down. But when the
I
doll
just
came
watched
off,
that video 2 days ago.
you did?
Yeah, it
Oh.
came up on my memories.
Good Lord, yeah, I'm just like, oh my God. Anyways, going back to that, we actually had a team member who was doing, the spirit box session. Had her eyes closed, doing that the whole entire night. That's it, like all night. She totally fucking missed that doll coming right off at her. She fucking missed it because she wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't realize it until it was on the ground by her, and she chucked it our way. But she totally missed that thing come off there, and that's the one thing, I don't want to miss anything by sitting there fiddling around with some freaking equipment all the time.
Oh, that's just like our live feeds. We're gonna start doing live feeds, but we're not gonna pay attention to the chat a lot.
Yeah.
We're gonna put it on a tripod and let them see what we're seeing.
Right.
So we can investigate, and then if we need to go back we can ask, answer questions. But I'm gonna just set it in the middle of the room where we want it to point, and maybe catch something while we're still investigating. That way we're not watching the phone all the time, where we can kind of point our views on something else.
And if we miss something, they're gonna tell us.
Yeah, they'll tell us in chat. We'll go back through the chat later.
Right.
I've probably learned more from people that don't ghost hunt. I had a girl, she doesn't ghost hunt whatsoever, doesn't even really believe in ghosts. She's just like, so why do you guys walk all around upstairs, downstairs, this room, this room? I was like, trying to find them. And she goes, if they wanted to talk, wouldn't they come find you?
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm just like, no, you got to look around.
A lot of them like to play cat and mouse.
Yeah, cat and mouse.
Right. Yep. They do. You may hear a knock somewhere, and then you go down to that knock, and then it's on the other end, and you're just like.
When I did that thing with the Kling brothers in Texas, we investigated a bunch, and they would go in there for maybe 3, maybe 4 hours, and then call it. They're like, if it's not doing anything at this point, it's just why sit here for 20 hours?
Right.
Like, it's either going to do it or it's not.
And
I'm like, at that point, I was like, well, that's not how you do it. You have to be here as long as you. And it's like, well, why do you have to do that? They're right. It's either going to do it or it's not.
Not right. Yep.
Yeah, they're not puppets.
That's
right. And I realized that 100-year anniversary at the Axe Murder House. I'm like, this night is mine.
Yeah.
I'm downstairs by myself. I text my buddy. I'm like, bro, you don't hear from me by 8 a.m. Get my preacher down here. I was freaked out. I'm like, by myself, 100-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Wow.
At one point, there's a lightning bug in the corner. I'm like, if you can hear me flash once for yes, twice. And that's when I realized it's like, if it is them, they're not in the afterlife going, oh crap, 100-year anniversary, we got to go punch in and do parlor tricks for this guy.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's not how it works.
But then I realized, well, leap years and leap days and all that junk, that's not really the 100-year anniversary.
Uh-huh.
And I was telling a day tour that, I was like, I'm too stupid to try and figure it out. And he goes, June 9th, 2032.
Oh, shit.
I was like, what? He goes, that would actually be the 100-year. That explains why I was in 7th grade math as a senior, I guess.
I hate math. Don't ask me to ever do math.
I hate math too.
Nothing I ever learned in school I have ever used besides basic arithmetic and dealing with people.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true. That's true.
And my daughter will bring home history stuff about Columbus and the Civil War, and I'm just like, I'm going through it, and I'm like, that's not correct. That's not what happened. And, well, I got to write down what they say. It's like, why? That's not what happened.
Yeah.
You know? Columbus was kind of a dirtbag.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You know what
a
I mean?
little bit.
Like, at one point, he knew about, like, eclipses and stuff. And he's telling this tribe, you got to give me all your food so we can, because they were out of food and they wanted to survive. Or otherwise, I'm going to make the sun black out and you're all going to die, knowing that an eclipse was coming. Stuff like that. Like, so why? No, you answer this the way history is really taught or really happened. And if your teacher has a problem with it, please let me come in. Why are we? Anyway, I'll go crazy on that subject. Why teach lies?
Yeah, well, yeah.
History is his story. History is written by the winners.
There you go. Oh my God, I'm just chuckling because I totally missed this comment. I think she said it when you were talking about catching fairies. And she put catching Johnny in a pink tutu.
If that's what it takes to bring Shadow Man out, you know.
Hey, that's true.
We'll bring one next time. I'm pretty sure my daughter has one in her room.
I'll wear the pink tutu if Josh eats one of Hank's fingernails.
Oh!
It's all for science.
Oh, God. He'll look at it and he'll start banging. Just thinking about it, he'll...
So, Josh, that's the challenge. I'll wear a pink tutu in the Shadow Man's hallway. You have to eat a fingernail.
Josh will say no smoke break.
I'm challenging him right now. No balls, Josh. No balls if you don't do it.
I have to see that.
All of a sudden, I'm just banned from the manor.
Yeah, right.
What's going on? Chris meets me out front, like, dude, you got to go. Like, you're not welcome here anymore.
Oh my God. So do you have any investigations or events or anything like that? Do you do any of that?
You know, like right before lockdown, I was booking like crazy. I had events in Europe.
Oh shit.
It was paid flight, paid motel, my time paid for, appearance fee, like all that stuff. And I'm like, and they're like, come a week early. We'll book you a week early. We'll take you to Stonehenge. And like, oh my gosh, this paranormal stuff that my teacher said I could never make a living doing.
Yeah.
It's now taking me to Europe for free.
Yeah.
And then lockdown happened, which was horrible for everybody on the planet. You know, it is what it is. And after that, it's just like, I was kind of shy on booking stuff because I didn't know if things would get canceled again. So within that time, I really liked riding motorcycles. So like, this is a lot of fun too. So last year I just rode a lot. This year I'm going to ride even more, but I'll probably book some stuff. I worked with Chad Kalick, Heather Taddy on a project this last winter called Harbinger Kingdom, which will be coming out soon.
Okay.
So that was nice to get back in the game and film some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely will be filming a lot more with Chad down the road. I'll probably book some stuff for sure. I did the talk at the Benson Theater with Tinny and them, and that was a lot of fun to get back up in front of people and stuff. But yeah, I'll be doing some stuff. I don't have anything booked yet, so.
Well, Cynthia says you need to come to Bango.
Bangkok? What?
Bango.
Bango? Like Bangkok sounds like an awesome time. Bango sounds fun too. I need to start getting on the ball, and I mean summer's coming. A lot of things are booked already, but
that's what we're running into too, because we're kind of. Well, my kids the girls are going to Europe this year, so gotta give them some spending money for that. So, but yeah, we've got some new places booked for this year, so that's gonna be fun.
I've been invited 2 or 3 times by Amy Bruni with the deal, down at the Belvoir Winery. The last one got canceled, but I'd like to do stuff with them, So when Kindred Spirits came to the Axe House, I was just kind of like, I knew they were on tap, so I didn't know much about them. And I pull up their Instagram. They're like at a Polo Yacht Club party. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get along with these guys.
You're right.
2 different worlds, And so they come. Adam picks up my son, puts him on his lap, starts reading him a book. Amy's chatting me up. Chip Coffee walks in. I'm like, Chip, I haven't seen you forever.
Yeah.
All the cast and crew, or all the crew, used to work on like Ghost Lab and various other shows, and they've moved up to Kindred Spirits. And so it's like, Andy, what have you been up to? The director of photography, and it's just like old home week. So and their episode, I think, was one of the most important episodes that's ever been to the Axe Murder House. It had a message behind it, a very good message, and it wasn't just look at what evidence we caught.
Right, yeah.
So I'd really like to do more with them down the road.
Yeah, I like Amy and Adam.
Yeah, they're great. I love them. They're a great show for sure. Right. And how can you not love Chip? It's like,
well, we met Adam up there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he come to Farrar a couple of years later, and he remembered me from Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're good, just good people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
We're from 2 different worlds, totally.
Yeah.
Like they're Polo Yacht Club, I'm Biker Bar.
Right, yeah.
But it doesn't matter,
That's right. Yeah.
We all just good people, and I'd love to do some stuff with them. But one of my main focuses is Chad Kalick. That dude was the first one to put me on anything.
Oh,
And it was, I just started at the Axe House. I get a MySpace message from Ryan Buell.
Oh,
And I'm like, sure, this is Ryan Buell. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, my buddy Chad's doing a documentary in Iowa. Can we do a thing at the Axe House? No big fanfare or nothing, just in, out, under the radar in like 2 days. I'm like, okay. 2 days later, I see Ryan walking up the sidewalk. I'm like,
oh, shit.
Yeah. And then Chad put me in American Ghost Hunter. And I gave him a CD of the band that I was in at the time. He did a cover of one of our songs on his YouTube page, just acoustic, and since then he's invited me to about everything he does, and he's just like, that was the guy that really got me into this field, and so I'll always do stuff with him.
Right, yeah, for sure. All right, well, before we start wrapping things up for our listeners, where can they follow you and keep up to date to see if you pop up on anything else, or?
Just Facebook / Johnny Hauser, Instagram Johnny Hauser, every social media Johnny Hauser.
Okay.
I also have a Patreon page where I'm really delving deeper into the Axe House as far as like new evidence found. And then I'll turn that into probably a true crime mini podcast to investigations, just everything. And it's just, if you look up Patreon, Johnny Hauser, Villisca Axe Murder House, you'll find it, I'm sure.
Okay.
So that's kind of been my deal now. I had another meeting today with a very large podcast company that pays.
Oh, there you go.
Casters.
Well, it's good to get paid, yeah.
I mean, it's just like they have offices.
Oh, wow.
In New York, you know.
Nice.
And so I was kind of talking to them, and they're going to try and pitch me for something with like within the true crime world, which I'd really like to do, you know. Nothing really to do with ghosts, more with just true crime stuff.
True crime is the shit.
Yeah.
I watch that 24/7.
True crime was my first love, you know, like when we were little kids, they had us in school read A Child Called It.
Oh, huh?
Which is terrifying for a little kid to read. And I put that book down and I thought, this guy didn't kill anyone. If anyone had the right to kill anyone, this poor kid did. He's fine. So what made Ed Gein go, I'm going to wear this skin suit around the house?
Right, yeah.
Like, what's the tipping point? You know, and
right.
At a young age got me into true crime.
Yep, exactly. Cynthia, she said, ooh, more ways to stalk Johnny.
There you go.
She's going to be watching to see if you post a video in a pink tutu. Catch me if you can.
And if I do that, that'll be on that Patreon page. Patreon viewers get.
They gotta pay to see it.
Right. Maybe that's what I should do in my Patreon. Just dumb things at haunted places. Like,
there you go.
I'm gonna put on an adult diaper and pee my pants in this room. You know, y'all can watch.
I'm sure you got a lot of people with fetishes about that. You'll probably get paid some good money to do that.
That'll be my OnlyFans page.
There you go.
Yeah, subscribe to my OnlyFans, guys, and I'm going to start throwing that out on every podcast now that I have.
Yeah, for sure. Cynthia says she's already a subscriber, so let's go. I'm sure she means the pink tutu, not peeing in a diaper. But...
Pay me enough. Whatever. $20 is $20.
Oh my god. Oh, brother. All right.
And this is why you don't chug coffee right before a podcast. Oh. Yep.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
It's a wonder that I've ever kissed a girl.
Oh my gosh, you're just getting started here.
Yeah, like this is just getting going.
Oh my gosh. Cynthia says she loves you.
Love you too, Cynthia.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight in chat. Thank you for everybody who was listening but not in chat. We appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you tune in next week. I'm sure we'll be up to some shenanigans. We are celebrating our 5th season, so stay tuned for a surprise for that week. I'm sure we'll have something up our sleeves, or I might just
always do.
Yeah, we always do. Sometimes I get a little too, But anywho, and thanks to our special guest, Johnny Hauser, for being on. It was a pleasure.
Woo!
Woo! Okay, so pink tutu time. Have a good night, Cynthia. She's like, woo woo. All right, peace out, everybody. We'll see you next